In this presentation, I will explain the theory behind the pain dissolving exercise. It will give you an idea of how and why it really works. To help you understand, I will give you some interesting facts about brain anatomy. Then I will explain how the brain works. I will also tell you about seeing the space between objects. And at the end, I will explain the mechanism behind the exercise. So, let's start from the beginning. Brain anatomy. The brain consists of several anatomical parts which have different functions. I will show you a few of the main ones. The most famous part is a visual area where all signals passing through the eyes are processed. Another one is the sensory area, which receives all signals coming from parts of our body. The next one is the motor area, which processes the voluntary movements of the body, legs and hands. And then there is the olfactory area, where smells are processed. And finally, the auditory area, which is responsible for hearing. In this exercise, we work on the sensory area, so I will tell you a little more. As you remember, it receives all signals coming from various parts of the body. Research has shown which part of the sensory area is connected to which part of the body. The top section is connected to our feet. The lower section is responsible for signals from our legs, body and arms. The following part is related to our head, the next part related to our hands, another to our lips, another to the tongue, and the last two are related to internal organs. It is easy to see that a large part of the sensory area is connected to the hands, most likely because our hands perform a huge variety of tasks. Another large part relates to the lips and tongue. This could be because when we're very young, we learn about the world by putting everything to our mouth. Okay, and now a few words about brain physiology. As we know, the brain communicates using chemicals. Some of you may have heard of dopamine, serotonin, but also the brain uses small electric currents. So, when electrodes are placed on the head and connected to a machine, it records a stream of odd-looking zigzags, which are called brain wave graphs. Researchers divided brain waves depending on the frequency, such as how many times in 1 second the zigzag goes up and down. The most frequent waves are called beta. These are typical for our everyday activity. Less frequent waves are called alpha. They can be recorded when we're very relaxed but still awake. This brainwave frequency is used in the pain dissolving exercise. Less frequent than alpha are theta, and the slowest are called delta. These are produced during sleep. To understand the exercise, we should also know that the brainwaves can be in phase, which means that pens connected to different electrodes go up and down together. We say they are in synchrony. Or they can be out of phase, when a pen connected to one of the electrodes is going against the others. We say they are not in synchrony, or we can say they are in asynchrony. To understand synchrony better, we can watch a rider on a horse. In order for the riding to go smoothly, the rider and horse have to be in synchrony. When that happens, we feel the rhythm is right, the riding looks nice, does not require a lot of energy, and can last a long time. We can also imagine when the rider and horse are not in synchrony, the riding would not look nice, could not last long, and would be very painful. Now let's imagine 4 riders sitting on each other's shoulders, riding the same horse. We feel it would work, but only when they are all in synchrony. But what would happen if one of them, let's say the second one, was out of synchrony? They would all feel something is wrong. They would all be unhappy with this situation and would want to correct the odd one in order to make riding smooth and easy again. There are several things the synchronous riders can do. They could, for example, make a big leap to make the second rider naturally follow their move and return to synchrony with them. Okay, and what do you see on this slide? Look carefully. Most of you will say 2 wardrobes, but is there anything else? Yes, there's a space between and around them. This was just to show you the way we see the world. We look at things, but we ignore the space between them. This is because there's nothing interesting in the space. The space does not have any colour, any smell, no texture, no consistency or taste. Our brain has nothing to process in the space. But it was found by Dr. Fehmi, the author of Open Focus Theory, that when one is asked to feel the space, the whole brain slows down. All areas of the brain having had nothing to do, and more importantly, all areas of the brain then go into synchrony. With this understanding, I can explain how the pain dissolving exercise works. Imagine our blue man going for a run in the morning, tripping over and bumping his knee. The signal from the injured knee goes along the nerves to his sensory area and activates the part of the brain which is responsible for the knee, which then becomes out of synchrony with the rest of the brain. The asynchrony is what the blue man recognizes as pain. That is why, according to the open focus theory, the brain is the organ which generates pain by producing and detecting asynchrony between its parts. So in order to reduce pain, we have to restore synchrony in the sensory area. This is exactly what happens during the pain dissolving exercise. At the beginning of the exercise, you will be asked to feel the space between your hands, lips and tongue in order to produce a big synchronous wave between large areas of the brain. Then you will be asked to feel this space and the pain at the same time. It will make the big synchronous wave go through the asynchronous part of the brain and bring them back into sync. When synchrony is restored, the pain will be diminished or completely dissolved. To understand it better, you can imagine the sensory area as the surface of a pond which is initially calm, in the same way as we saw the 4 riders riding smoothly sitting on each other's shoulders. Then a droplet hits the water and the whole surface of the water starts behaving differently, and all the molecules of the water realize immediately that something has happened. As explained earlier, each of the riders know one of them is out of sync, and all of the brain knows that asynchrony has occurred. In order to restore the calm surface of the water, we can generate a big wave which flows through the odd part and brings it back to synchrony with the rest. Similarly, during the exercise, a big synchronous wave is produced which goes through the asynchronous areas of the brain and realigns them back into sync, much like the analogy of the riders as explained before. This results in the surface of the water and the riders going back to sync, and the sensory area of the brain restores its normal level of activity and the pain is gone. Please look at it again. So now you know how and why the pain dissolving exercise works, and now you can try it when you feel any pain. Thanks for watching.